And we're live. Welcome to the Lakers Late Night Podcast. I am Anthony Irwin. I am tired of this Lakers team. They're the worst thing I think I've ever seen on TV. I can't stand them anymore. I'm considering rooting for the Sparks. I can't. Harrison, how are you doing?
Well, I watched the second season of Heroes, so I can't claim that this is the worst thing I've ever seen on TV, but it hasn't been great.
It's just that's my analysis of this game. Just the longest, most drawn out sigh that you can possibly find. Lakers give up 40 points in the fourth quarter and get stomped on by the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. Second night of a back-to-back, so maybe you can claim their legs were a little weary. We'll get to the reasons why the Lakers lost via the best/worst comments at the end of this podcast. But I wanted to start tonight by talking about, yet another point guard exploding for the greatest game of his life against this backcourt and this coaching staff. It's turning into, I might start playing FanDuel or DraftKings just so that I could play whichever point guard is playing against these Lakers. Every single night, I might have these stats wrong, but I believe on the season, opposing point guards are scoring 53.5 points per game. They are just
Oh man, I thought you had actually calculated this out for a second. That was my mistake.
Yeah, 53.5 points per game, 27.5 assists per game, -3 turnovers, meaning their turnovers actually turn into assists. It's the craziest thing. I've never seen that stat before. Brandon Knight actually got a triple-double. That's something I can't make up. and it's just night in, night out. Sign up for whichever point guard is going to incredibly roast the Lakers backcourt. Tonight was no different.
Yeah, that's the argument, I guess, that FanDuel and DraftKings are a skill-based game. It's the skill of knowing to pick whichever point guard is playing against the Lakers. That makes it a lot easier. But Brandon Knight, I didn't even think he got a triple-double, but I didn't even think offensively, which is where you get most of those counting stats, he was even that phenomenal tonight. It just looked a lot like he was getting out in transition and taking advantage, and he was taking advantage of Brandon Bass at center, and those fun all five-player bench lineups of Bass, Nance, I think it was Swaggy, Lou, and Huertas at one. No, it wasn't that bad. It couldn't have been. No.
It was that bad. It was that bad. And we're wondering why the Lakers got roasted for 40 points in the second half. I can't believe that happened. Not in the fourth quarter.
We know that Kobe isn't the Lakers' worst defender.
That's actually, before we came on the air, you made the point of what Byron is sitting there thinking as the Lakers get roasted in the fourth quarter. And it scares me for the next time Kobe plays in a game. Go ahead and recant that or say that again.
Well, I think almost the worst part of it dispiriting the team just didn't look like they had it at all, especially in the fourth quarter loss like this, is it just seems like Byron is probably sitting there thinking, well, this is why you play Kobe 36 minutes limits be damned, and have him close out the game, because these guys don't have the heart to close it down. It's not that Marcelo Huertas and Brandon Bass are in there trying to defend the Phoenix Suns. It's that, this team doesn't have enough heart or toughness, or as he said after the game, they weren't boxing out enough and they need to man up. I'm not kidding.
The Lakers tonight had 12 assists total tonight. 12 assists total. Brandon Knight had 15 assists by himself. Now, part of that is, again, the Lakers got out, or the Suns were able to get out and transition a bunch because the Lakers system is more antiquated than the suits that Byron Scott wears every game. But 12 assists for an entire team is laughably bad ball movement. Laughably bad. And you can even attribute, let's say we give them 3 extra ones and round up to 15 total. for guys missing layups or not being ready for passes in the right spot or missing open shots. 15 assists on a game is terrible. What do you think is going into, that poor rotate, or the poor system, manifesting itself into that kind of mind-boggling stat?
Well, I don't think that it's that hard to see how they end up with games like this because they have so many guys, like we talked about. They have Lou, they have Nick, they have Kobe when he plays, and but then it's not helped by the fact that their offense is pretty rudimentary. It often calls for a couple passes or waiting for an action to develop, and a lot of the time it ends up it's just give the ball to somebody late in the shot clock and they have to go make something happen. So it's really not that difficult to see how, especially on the road where they aren't getting home cooking from the scorekeeper, that they're barely going to rack up any assists.
Yeah, it's I'm struggling through this first part of this podcast because my mind is just boggled at everything going on. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to man up. It's on me. I got to man up. I got to do better than this. Man up, Anthony, man up. Speaking of not manning up, there is a very famous. There's a really, really, really good Vine right now of a certain Spanish defender getting roasted by the aforementioned Brandon Knight, and Marcelo's defense hurts us. It's just terrible. Like every night, there's some vineable play, and yet he was getting fourth quarter minutes when the game was still in question or it was still in contention. What's going on there?
You didn't even use your actual good pun from before the show where you called him Marcelo Huertas. And that was the case on defense tonight. He was just really bad, and it wasn't even – and we expected him to be like that. If you watch training camp, you watch the preseason, he was giving up pretty much everything he got on defense. He tries. It's not for lack of effort. He's just bad. He doesn't have the physical ability. And then tonight it was coupled by the fact that on offense he was turning the ball over. And he was really struggling against the length of the Suns' defenders. So I just went on a night like that when he doesn't have it going on offense. I don't see why he's even out there. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's what I was thinking as it was happening. Is how is this guy getting fourth quarter minutes over D'Angelo Russell? Like how does, if I'm D'Angelo Russell and there's literally nothing I can do to get on the court, and I'm looking that hack do whatever the hell he's doing on the court, and Byron is just sitting there with his arms crossed while turnover after turnover or blow by after blow by occurs, I'm thinking, man, like, what do you want me to do? And again, I can't wait to see another Vine of him trying to figure out, hey, it was another fourth quarter game, a close fourth quarter game when you can't get on the court while your teammates struggle. Can you figure out anything is going on? No, I can't. And it can't be good for his development. This is terrible for a cornerstone of the Lakers to be having to deal with this moron.
Well, you mentioned before we went on air, I thought that you made a good point. When he came back in, it really looked like he was saying F this, and he was being even more aggressive and really trying to get to the basket and get his own. What did you see there?
Well, it's turning into, like, earlier on in the season, my favorite my favorite characteristic of Julius Randle was, I don't care about the system. Give me the ball in space, and I'm going by anybody who's guarding me. Now he's completely regressed, and he's out there trying to second guess whatever's going on the court out there. One of those famous Byron Scott pep talks, apparently. And when Russell did get out there in garbage time, it looked like he just went out there and was like, you know what? Screw this guy. Go ahead, call a play, coach. Middle finger, and I can't blame him at all. I can't blame him at all, and you look at the quotes that are coming in after the game, and I can't blame any of the Lakers for saying, hey, management, get rid of this guy. He's terrible. He has no idea what he's doing.
Well, so that actually, I'm going to tease a little bit the game that we were going to play to finish out the show. But during my research for that, I discovered that 5 of the first 6 replies to the Lakers status announcing the end of the game and the final score were hashtag fire Byron Scott.
Yeah, I can believe it. I can believe it. Let's go ahead and get to the game that we were teasing. This is going to be one of the shorter shows because honestly, I'm stopping myself from cussing on the air. So,
there's really just not much to talk about. We got into it last night. It's just rinse, repeat. Other than Kobe being overused because he was back in California, so I guess they improved there. I don't know.
Hey, do we know if Kobe's actually made it to his car yet? He said he was struggling to do so because Byron played him so many minutes. Are we sure he made it home?
I would hope so. Staples he'd be just sitting there tonight, just in the dark, just meditating. I guess Kobe system.
Now I'm all nervous for Kobe. That's great.
All right, one of us needs to go drive Staples and check on him after this.
Man, I'm closer. I guess I'll do it. All right, so the game that we were going to play is a game that we used to play for Lakers Outsiders called Facebook Comments, where we go through the best fan reactions to things that, whether it's Silver Screen and Roll, Lakers Nation, anybody tweets or put something out on Facebook. They're usually best found on Facebook to see what the fans are thinking about the team at any given time. So, Harrison, I'll go ahead and let you start. What was the tweet or Facebook comment that you found?
Yeah, well, I'm personally a renegade, so I almost always go with a Twitter comment during Facebook comments, just because I don't like to live by your rules. And
you're D'Angelo Russell calling off the plays. I'm calling a play.
Yeah, you're gonna have to bench me, old man.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite things to do is just search for like word combinations on Twitter. So for this one, one of my all-time favorites is Clarkson Westbrook, which is a really fun one if any of you listeners have some time. But today I searched D'Angelo bust. And so this was the best response that I found. This is in response to the Lakers saying Jordan Clarkson finishes with 20 points, but Phoenix runs away with it in the fourth quarter in a final score graphic. And this guy's response was, D'Angelo Russell is a freaking bust, man. This kid has no heart, no passion, no aggressiveness, just worthless, man.
Was that James Worthy on Time Warner Sports, or was that?
Jeez. No, okay. It was at Juanvel 644-27318. So shout out to you, Juan.
Well done, Juan. You won this game, Juan. I can't help it. I have to laugh through these terrible games. All right, so
hey, it's I hope that's why people want to tune in. They don't just want us to yell the whole time.
The Lakers suck. Just repeatedly. Just stay down, team.
Just us like shaking our fists at the camera. Bad, D'Angelo, bad. No.
We just have 2 shake weights. Just no. My comments came from a fan who's very close to the game. Extremely close to the game. He goes by a name. What's his name? No, he doesn't have Twitter because he doesn't like the social medias. We have Byron Scott for his comments after the game tonight. Byron Scott bringing back the box out drills. He warned Scott, I guarantee you. Let's go Byron on D'Angelo. I just thought he didn't play well. Didn't come out with the type of energy you need to come out with against those guys. They were close in the fourth quarter or in the first half, Byron. The game got away from you when D'Angelo was on the freaking bench. Let's go ahead and let's find another one. Oh yeah, Byron again calling for his players to man up. He's literally, I don't know if you guys saw that South Park episode where it was Roger Goodell sitting at the desk and they were trying to get questions from him, and he just said, "We're gonna fix it. We have to fix it. We're gonna fix it. We have to fix it." And it's literally like there's a pull string behind Byron's, suit coat.
It's and it says angry you pull 70s coach bot.
Yeah, he's just Byron, what did you think of the game tonight? We got to man up. Byron, what did you think of the? What are you looking forward to doing next practice? We're gonna man up and practice. It's the same comment
It
after
says
every game.
Jason Concepcion Network always has some of the best Byron Scott parody quotes, and he was saying after the game, tired on the second night of a back-to-back? F that. Guess we'll have to go even harder at the 1950s rebounding exercises.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, I did see him say that the second night of the back-to-back complaint was a bunch of crap, and that's an actual quote. And
oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's an actual quote. I'm not making that up.
So he didn't even make up that quote. He just paraphrased.
No, it's actually here. I'll find it. It's
this team, man.
This is. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Byron on players being tired. I keep hearing about this back to back. That's a bunch of crap. It's basketball. You come ready to play. Yeah, I can't make that up. I can't do it. Like he's the Facebook guy. He's the guy on Twitter who says the troops are our real heroes. Like that's all. And says he's an egg Avy or a dog Avy. He's a Byron Avy. Yeah. No, I'm gonna go ahead and call the show before I get into some serious trouble here.
Oh, that was man. We're just on a roll with these endings the last two nights.
Yeah. I will say this. I'll try to find a positive before we send this out. I can't.
Jordan Clarkson played well, I guess.
He did.
That's
all right.
That's all I got, really.
I'd be
Lou
remiss
Williams bounced back, which is like good and bad because it's like bad because it means that if he played well tonight, he'll probably play over D'Angelo next game. But I guess it's good that his shot isn't completely gone forever. I don't know.
I'm looking here. We got Anthony Brown got some minutes. That was fun. Tarek Black is not a figment of our imagination. That was.
They both got 2 minutes to be exact. It was
2 whole minutes
right at the end of the game. It was out of reach, and so why not just throw those guys in for 2 minutes just to prove they still exist?
Byron wanted to sub out Lou Williams so that he could get an extra cheer from the crowd as they walked off the court.
You waited for me to drink to say
that. You have all right, D'Angelo Russell, 27 minutes is that's better. 13 points, only 2 assists, a turnover. You have Clarkson, 20 points, which is good. 6 of 12 shooting, I can dig that. Only 1 assist. That's going to be a theme. Roy Hibbert led the Lakers in assists tonight, and with that, we're out. I can't say anything more critical of this team than Roy Hibbert, passer extraordinaire, leading the Lakers in assists. So
Magic Roy. I guess Kareem wasn't the only Showtime legend that tutored him.
There you go. Harrison, thank you very much for joining us and braving this disgusting game on Silver Screen and Roll's Twitter account. I'm calling it Twitter. Tweet. I am Anthony Irwin. Harrison, just say something nice so that we can keep our jobs.
I love you, Anthony.
Dang it. HR, human resources.